High-performing teams don't just operate a little better than normal teams, they operate 10 times better because they operate completely differently. Hey leader, David Burkus here, organizational psychologist and author of 4 best-selling books on helping leaders and teams do their best work ever. And in this episode, we're talking about the secrets of high-performing teams, the secrets of top teams, and how you can turn your team into one. And I suppose the big secret, it's not the first one, we'll get to that, but the biggest secret around top performing teams is that they really are high performing. A recent meta-analysis of teams from a variety of different fields, everything from art to architecture and football to football. Get it? A variety of different teams in a variety of different industries. In this meta-analysis of teams in all sorts of industries, hundreds of thousands of individuals captured, showed that in most situations, the vast majority of situations, the difference between high-performing teams and low-performing teams, it doesn't follow a normal distribution, a bell curve like we're used to. It actually follows more like a power law, meaning so much of the performance comes from the top-performing teams. It looks like that 80-20 rule, or it looks like teams at the top tier of performance are performing 10 times better. So what are they doing? What are they doing so differently? Well, that's what we're going to talk about in this episode. Let's get started. So the first secret of high-performing teams is that they work out loud. And you obviously see this in sports teams where there's constant play calling, more interdependent sports like soccer or basketball. They're constantly communicating with each other. But work teams work the same way. This isn't just going into some weekly team meeting, divvying up assignments, and having everybody work in silos and then come back every once in a while to do their reports and deliverables and what have you. I mean, if you've ever been on a project team in college, you know exactly why this doesn't work. I saw it in my decade plus as a business school professor. The teams that performed poorly were the ones that just said, okay, you do this, you do this, you do this, and we'll meet together the day before we have to present. No, it's the teams that work out loud, whether in the classroom or whether in work. The teams that are constantly keeping each other up to date. What am I focused on next? Hey, when did I complete what I complete? What pivots did I have to make? And where do I need help? Teams that are working out loud and constantly communicating to everybody else what they're focused in on so that everybody else can adjust what they're doing accordingly. Those teams stay in sync more and as a result achieve more performance. The second secret of high-performing teams is they understand differences. They understand what's different about each other. You know, I think it's fascinating. Some of the earliest human cave drawings depicted hunting scenes where teams of individuals are banding together to take down larger prey. And a lot of those drawings include almost anthropomorphic depictions of humans, meaning it's a human but with the head of a lion or the wings of an eagle. The idea being that everybody on the team had slightly different strengths, right? This one had brave or really strong. This one was really fast and swift, right? They all had different strengths, and in pulling them together, they could perform better. Well, top performing teams in almost every field, they understand those differences matter because those differences are how we play to each other's strengths. And so they take the time to understand the differences of people on their team. And this isn't just, surface level differences. Yeah, those matter. Racial, gender, ethnic differences matter. Personality differences matter. But even differences in preferences. Who prefers to think out loud, and so they write long emails to process information as they're sending it out to the team, and who prefers to think via conversation. As we start to understand those differences and start to give each other on the team almost a user's manual to me so that you can understand me, we start to know how to collaborate better, and no surprise, we collaborate better. And the third secret of high-performing teams is that they build trust. One of their priorities is continuing to build trust on the team, and trust that they can speak up when they disagree, trust that they can say that crazy idea and not get judged for it. In particular, trust that they can fail or admit their role in the team's failure and not be kicked out. Teams with low trust are constantly fighting over who's to blame for what, and as a result, no one's learning and no one's improving. But teams with high trust perform dramatically better because when failures happen, they can do a proper after-action review, they can look at what went wrong and learn from it. In addition, teams that build trust perform better because people feel free to submit their crazy ideas. They feel free to argue over their ideas in a way that's respectful, right? 4% of people are psychopaths. We're not talking about those people. But the other 96%, there's no harm in building trust to the level where we can have a true task-focused debate, and as a result, the best ideas win. So you learn more, you discuss better, and so your best ideas keep winning because they keep getting better and better. And so does your performance. And the last secret of high-performing teams is that they reinforce purpose on a regular basis. They don't need to be motivated by some corporate propaganda campaign or some charismatic leader. They keep reminding each other why they're doing what they do and who is served by the work that they do. I first paid attention to this in the arena of sports. You have teams like the San Antonio Spurs under Greg Popovich who developed this rallying cry of "pound the rock" every time they were going into practice. The rallying cry is taken from the analogy of a stonecutter who has to hit the stone 1,000 times before it finally cracks. And they keep themselves motivated and keep reminding themselves why they're doing what they're doing to get the win, the crack later in every practice, because every practice is just another one of those rocks. The New Zealand All Blacks use this phrase, "leave the jersey in a better place." Meaning you were given this jersey, you were a part of this team, but this team is bigger than you. This team existed before you, it will exist after you. The fans of this team, the community that this team serves will exist before and after you, and your role is to serve that jersey well and perform so well that you're leaving it in a better place. I mean, these are just two sort of sports-related examples of the team keeping each other accountable to why we do what we do, but I see the same thing in the work teams that I work with. Work teams I work with. That sounds really weird, but we're gonna run with it. I see the way that teams reinforce why we do what we do. They share gratitude to each other to reinforce that we're interdependent. They remind people of their team's role in the larger mission. They continue to reinforce purpose on a regular basis. And as a result, motivation continues to be refreshed, it continues to grow, and so does the performance of the team. And just like reinforcing purpose, all of these secrets are self-reinforcing. As you begin to do them, you sort of move a flywheel a little bit. You gain some momentum, if you will. And as a result, it gets easier to keep it going and keep it going and keep it going. And that's really the biggest secret of high-performing teams is, yeah, they do the other 4 secrets, but they keep doing it. Not just one and done team-building exercise, personality tests to understand each other's differences. They continue to work out loud. They continue to reinforce purpose. They continue to build trust because they know they do that. They'll continue to perform better and better and better. And as a result, every time they feel like they're doing their best work ever, it just gets better. Oh, and one more thing. This episode is about high-performing teams, but you're probably wondering what the secrets of high performers are. We've got you covered. You're gonna wanna check out this video here on what high performers want.